Why do so many things we dream up in fiction end up feeling so real? It's as if our movies, books, and shows were telling us something that already existed, but that we hadn't discovered yet. What if reality is just a reflection of predetermined stories? Is the simulation leaving us clues? There are many examples where fiction seems to have predicted reality. In 1966, Star Trek showed its characters using communicators that worked over long distances. Decades later, in the 1990s, the first mobile phones appeared, and in 2007, smartphones became an everyday reality. Another example is the writer Arthur C. Clarke, who in 1945 described communication satellites in geostationary orbit long before the technology existed to make them. Simple foresight, or a leak of something that already existed. These examples and many others, like submarines in the novels of Jules Verne, the prediction of the internet in science fiction from the 1960s, or even artificial intelligence in movies from the 1980s, make us wonder, is it possible that something or someone is giving us glimpses of reality through fiction? But what if all these coincidences between fiction and reality weren't just products of creativity? According to the simulation theory, it's possible that we live in a digital reality, designed and controlled by a higher intelligence. And some suggest that these parallels are not accidental but intentional clues or Easter eggs hidden by the simulators. Imagine for a moment that the simulators want to test our ability to uncover the truth, leaving fragments of knowledge hidden in the stories we consume. This could be a kind of perception test to see if we can spot the patterns or understand the hidden message in the simulation's script. Examples of these Easter eggs abound, from predictions in literature and cinema to apparent technological anachronisms in history. Some believe these could be experiments to see how we react to partial truths. Perhaps the future already exists in some digital form, and we're being shown it gradually, in what could be an intentional leak. If the simulators are leaving these Easter eggs, it could be a way of testing our ingenuity and perception. Or maybe they only want us to see what they want us to see, hiding the true nature of reality. Perhaps those visionary authors and screenwriters are, in reality, channeling ideas that the simulators had already created. Another fascinating theory is that of synchronicity. What if these coincidences between fiction and reality were indications that multiple universes exist, and sometimes we pick up on little interferences between them? According to synchronicity, these meaningful parallels might be more than just coincidences. They could be signals from other universes. A classic example of synchronicity is the so-called butterfly effect, where a small event in one universe could trigger major consequences in another. Could fictional stories be reflections of real events in alternate universes? Maybe the universe in which Jules Verne wrote 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea and ours just crossed paths enough for us to get a glimpse of that technology ahead of its time. Even Carl Jung, the famous psychologist, talked about synchronicities as the manifestation of a collective unconscious that we all share. This unconscious could be filtering ideas from one reality to another, creating a bridge between parallel universes. Thus, fictional stories would be like a memory of alternate realities, making us feel like we already know these stories, like an echo from somewhere else. So why does fiction so often intersect with reality? Is it simply the result of boundless human creativity? Or are we picking up on fragments of something deeper? Some believe that fiction could be a mechanism for getting closer to the truth of our existence, to prepare us for something much bigger. Imagine for a moment that the script of our reality intentionally has these points of contact, like a simulation code file inserted into our collective subconscious, which emerges in fiction. Perhaps authors and filmmakers are connected in some way to the very code of our reality. In the end, all these stories could be little perception tests that the simulators have inserted. Do we realize we're living in a simulation, or do we prefer to see it as mere entertainment? Perhaps, when we observe the parallels between reality and fiction, we are actually seeing the bars of our own cage. So, what are we really experiencing? Are these just coincidences, the result of our creativity and vision of the future? Or are we picking up on fragments of other realities, intentionally left by simulators, or leaking through from other universes? The deeper we delve into fiction, the more similarities we see between our imagination and reality. Perhaps our creativity is a doorway to other worlds, to other possibilities. Or maybe, just maybe, someone is leaving us clues along the way. We'd love to know what you think. Is fiction just a reflection of our imagination? Or are they hidden messages within our reality? Leave your thoughts in the comments and subscribe if you want to keep exploring the mysteries of our existence.